Welcome back. Today, we're diving into one of Australia's most iconic treats, Anzac biscuits. But we're not just baking, we're uncovering some fascinating and lesser-known facts about these crunchy, golden delights. Stick around because this story is as rich as the biscuits themselves. Anzac biscuits, known for their irresistible combination of rolled oats, golden syrup, and coconut, have a history as rich as their flavor. Originally created during World War I, these biscuits were sent to Australian and New Zealand soldiers serving overseas. Did you know these biscuits weren't actually called Anzac biscuits at first? They were often referred to as soldiers' biscuits until the term Anzac, short for Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, became synonymous with them. Unlike traditional baked goods, Anzac biscuits were specifically designed to withstand long journeys. With no eggs or milk, they wouldn't spoil, making them ideal for care packages sent to troops. Many people think these biscuits are just a sweet snack, but they were actually born out of necessity. The lack of eggs during wartime inspired the use of golden syrup as a binding agent, giving them their unique chewy texture. Anzac biscuits are deeply tied to Anzac Day, observed every April 25th. This National Day of Remembrance honors the sacrifices of Australian and New Zealand soldiers, and the biscuits have become a staple in commemorating this day. Now here's something you might not know. Anzac biscuits are protected by law in Australia and New Zealand. You can't call them Anzac biscuits if you modify the recipe, and definitely no frosting or chocolate allowed. The traditional recipe is simple but effective: rolled oats, flour, sugar, butter, golden syrup, baking soda, water, and desiccated coconut. Despite their simplicity, these biscuits hold a wealth of meaning. While Anzac biscuits are beloved in both Australia and New Zealand, there's a friendly rivalry over who makes them best. Kiwis tend to prefer theirs crunchier, while Aussies often go for a softer, chewier version. The earliest recorded recipe for Anzac biscuits appeared in a 1917 Australian cookbook. But here's the kicker: that recipe didn't include coconut. The addition of coconut only became common after World War I. Making Anzac biscuits is a simple process, but there's one golden rule. Always let the butter and golden syrup mixture cool slightly before adding it to the dry ingredients. This ensures a perfectly balanced dough. Here are the iconic Anzac biscuits, a symbol of resilience, ingenuity, and tradition. But before we dig in, let's explore a few more fascinating tidbits about these little legends. Unlike most cookies, Anzac biscuits contain no leavening agents like yeast or baking powder. The baking soda interacts with the golden syrup, creating a slight rise and a signature caramelized flavor. Here's a quirky fact. During the war, soldiers would sometimes grind up Anzac biscuits to make porridge, using them as a quick and hearty meal substitute. Over the years, the recipe has stayed remarkably consistent. Some modern twists include using macadamia nuts or substituting maple syrup for golden syrup. Just don't call them Anzac biscuits. Anzac biscuits have inspired other dishes too. From Anzac slice to Anzac flavored ice cream, the biscuit's essence has found its way into countless creations. Today, Anzac biscuits are not only a favorite at home but are also a popular gift. Wrapped in simple brown paper and tied with twine, they make a heartfelt and delicious present. Here's a fun one for you. Have you ever wondered why they're called biscuits and not cookies? Well, in Australia and New Zealand, biscuits refer to what Americans would call cookies. So don't be confused if you ever hear someone refer to them as cookies in a different part of the world. Golden syrup plays a pivotal role in Anzac biscuits. While you might find it in other dishes, it's the ingredient that gives Anzac biscuits their characteristic flavor and texture. The rich, amber sweetness and its ability to bind the dough together is unmatched, which is why it's irreplaceable in this recipe. Golden syrup is so beloved in Australia and New Zealand, it's often used in everything from pancakes to porridge, and even as a topping for scones. It's been a staple in both countries for over a century and is a true symbol of comfort. Now, I know you're probably wondering what makes these biscuits so addictive. It's not just the golden syrup. It's also the combination of rolled oats and coconut, giving them that perfect chewy texture with just the right amount of crunch. While they started as a wartime treat, Anzac biscuits have become an everyday favorite in Australian and New Zealand homes. You'll see them at barbecues, school lunches, and even in cafes on Anzac Day. What's amazing is how much Anzac biscuits represent more than just food. They symbolize the spirit of the Anzacs themselves. These brave soldiers went through unimaginable hardships, and the biscuits reflect their resourcefulness, survival instincts, and connection to home. They were a taste of love, care, and family sent from afar. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey through the history and flavors of Anzac biscuits. I hope you learned something new today, and maybe even feel inspired to bake some of your own. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments, how do you like your Anzac biscuits?